Lesson 1, Dreamweaver CS4 New Features. In this video, you'll take a quick tour of some of Dreamweaver CS4's newest features. And the two features you'll spend a little time with up front are Photoshop Smart Objects, as well as HTML datasets using the Spry dataset functionality. Alright, let's get started by looking at the new Photoshop integration in Dreamweaver. Here I have this file index.html currently open, and I have my cursor here below this heading Shop in the Green. I'm going to go up to the menu and choose Insert Image, and I'm going to navigate through my Images folder and I'm going to find this file, recyclebag.psd. Now it's not possible to embed a Photoshop or PSD file into an HTML document, and that's still the case here. What will happen is that Dreamweaver will actually convert this PSD file to a GIF image, or a JPEG, whatever we would like, and then we're allowed to go back and forth and modify as needed. So I'm going to click on recyclebag.psd and click OK. Now as soon as we do that, the image preview window opens. And here we have the ability to optimize this image. In other words, save it as JPEG, GIF, PNG, so forth. In this particular case, I'd like to format this as a GIF because it's flat artwork, and GIF images are well suited for this. I'm not going to make too many more changes here. I'm going to click OK. And now Dreamweaver's asking me where I'd like to actually save this image. I'd like to save the generated GIF image, and this is not the Photoshop image, but a GIF image, into my Images folder. I need to put some alt text in here, which is a description of the image, recycle bag, and I'm going to click OK. Now what you'll see is that there's a small icon up here in the graphic, and currently this GIF image is synced or synchronized to the Photoshop image. However, what if I would like to modify the color of this recycle bag? So it's currently white. Perhaps I'd like to make it the same color green as the handles here. I'm going to click on the recycle bag, and then down here in my property inspector you'll see that there is a button for edit. Now again, you must have Photoshop installed to make this work. However, when I click the edit icon, I now jump back into Photoshop. Here I'll make a change by selecting the white and then filling the white with the same green. Now I'm going to choose File, Save, and I'll close this image. When I jump back to Dreamweaver, I now see a new icon. Red and green arrows indicate the fact that this image is currently not synchronized with the Photoshop image. If I click on that and go back down to my property inspector, there's an icon labeled Update from Original. When I click on that, the image now updates from Photoshop. So this is Smart Object functionality. A change that we make in Photoshop will automatically ripple through to any linked image in Dreamweaver. Pretty cool. Okay, let's look at another new feature here that's pretty exciting. Now, Spry widgets were introduced in Dreamweaver CS3. In Dreamweaver CS4, we have a few more. For example, we have Spry tabbed panels and the Spry tooltip. However, what we're going to be looking at is the Spry dataset. The first step is to make sure that the Insert panel is open and that the Spry section is selected. Again, if it's not selected, you would click on this menu and choose Spry. And then you'll click on the first option, Spry Dataset. The Dataset window appears. Here, your first step will be to select data type as XML. We're going to give the dataset name a good name, such as Events. Then we need to click on the Browse button and point to an XML file. Here in the data folder, I have a file called events.xml. I will select that. And now you'll see the structure of your XML document. What we need to do is select the Event section. And what you'll see is that there's a data preview down below that shows you exactly how your information will be categorized. So here you see date, title, caption, time, as well as ID. Again, up here in the XML document, date, title, caption, time, ID. I'll go ahead and I'll press Done. You have just defined the data source using the Spry Dataset widget. Now, you'll add this data to your page and format it using the Spry Repeat List widget. So the job of the Repeat List widget is to format the XML data as a standard HTML list. There are three categories of HTML lists to choose from: ordered, unordered, and a definition list. You will actually be using the definition list option. This will allow you to format a list in the Events section, in which the first item is the date of the event, and the second item is the title of the event. In order to do any of this, you need to tell Dreamweaver where to put this list. So Click once in the section below the events header on the right-hand side of the page. I'll now go back to my Insert panel. I'm going to insert a Spry widget named Spry Repeat List. The container tag reflects the way that we can format this information. I'm going to choose DL or Definition List. From the DT drop-down menu, I'm going to leave Date selected, and from the DD column, I'm going to choose Title. Go ahead and press OK. You'll be prompted to add a Spry region. Press Yes. And here you'll see a box with the date and title added. This might not look like much because you won't actually see the live data inside the design view. In order to see that, you would either need to preview it in a browser, or you can use one of Dreamweaver CS4's new features. This is called the Live View. The Live View is essentially a shortcut to the browser view. In other words, you don't have to launch into a new browser. You can go up here and press Live View. And when in Live View, what you'll see is that in the Events panel now, we have live data, May 10th, May 28th, May 31st. All this data is actually getting pulled from the XML document. This is pretty cool. This means that if there was a live link to that XML document, whether the information coming from a database or someone just inserting it by hand, these events would automatically be updated. In order to leave the Live View, I need to click on the Live View button again. Let's go ahead and look at a few other new features in CS4 quickly. You'll see here at the top of the document that there are some additional files up here. These were actually generated by our Spry widget, and this is a new feature in CS4 called Related Files. Any related files associated with this HTML document, such as an external CSS file or an external JavaScript file, these are all accessible with a single click. For example, if I wanted to go and look at that XML file that we were just working with, I could click on it, and now I'm actually in that XML file. This is very nice and useful if you're used to working in code. Same thing with the CSS file. I can immediately jump to the CSS document here. At any time, I can click back on source code, and I'm back in the source code of my HTML document. Okay, a similar feature that's related to this is something called the Code Navigator. The new Code Navigator allows you to view all the rules associated with a current selection. So for example, if I select this headline here, Cool New Stuff, I'm going to Alt or Option click on this, and I get the Code Navigator pop-up window. What this allows me to do is to hover over all of the rules here, and I can quickly see which rules apply to this selection. I can click on one of these rules, such as Headline, and it will send me directly to the style sheet, and there I could modify it if I choose. Well, we've taken a quick tour of some of the new features in Dreamweaver CS4. Believe it or not, there is actually more new features. However, these are some of the best.